What up, military family? It's the Toledo twins in the building. I'm Phil.
And I'm Alvin.
And welcome to Value in All Veterans, episode number 9 of the show/podcast. And today we got our first inaugural special guest in the building on our show. Name is Chris Bunn. He's the founder and owner of the merchandise brand Toledope out of Toledo, Ohio. Air Force veteran, good friend of ours. I've known him for a couple years. Alvin has too, and he's been doing a lot of amazing things in this community, in the business world, and as a veteran, which is what we try to highlight here, is our visibility with us as veterans, not just in business, but various other industries. So I'm excited to have him on the show. Alvin, what about you?
Me too, man. I know we said we were going to kick off the interviews this year, so we're keeping to our word and we're popping it off with Bunn. It's unique because we both know him, I more from a kind of personal level, but from work too. We all served, so we're taking those steps to get this stuff out to our followers and everyone who supports vets and whatnot. So I'm excited to get this started, and we get to engage with other vets doing big things. It's I'm pretty excited about it. So ready to get to it.
Yeah, great guest. So let's go ahead and get him in here right now. Chris Bunn, what is going on, bro?
What's going on?
Going on.
Hey man, just living.
I hear you, man. How's business going?
Yeah.
Business is doing good. We survived the pandemics. You know what I mean? We was kind of shut down for a year, shut down for a month, the month of April. But business is fine. We just did a sponsorship last night. One of the boxers here from Toledo, named Jared Big Baby Anderson. He knocked out somebody yesterday in 6th round on ESPN.
Oh, really?
And,
wow.
We sponsored them. We had the logo on his trunks, and it was just another way of how I've been marketing the brand. So
that's great, man. All right. And when it comes to like we were just off the air talking, and you said you got like a sale going on. Tell us a little bit about that. What you got going on actively, like right now, today?
Today through Monday, we got a Valentine's / President's Day sale going on in Toledo, 1 to 5, Sunday and Monday. $15 T-shirts and $35 hoodies, and then online at ToledopeApparel.com, we got a 40% off everything right now. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. For people to get their stuff in, before their taxes hit and all that. So just running a nice sale for them right now.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And so, just kind of scaling it a little bit back for a second for the viewers. You were obviously in the Air Force just like us, but just give us a little rundown about how your career went. How long did you serve? Where were you stationed? Did you deploy? Like what those kind of things.
So pretty much in 08, I joined in the military in May of 08. And then my first duty station was Andrews Air Force Base. I was originally a radio operator. And then the career field changed to client systems technicians, pretty much IT.
Mm-hmm.
So the next duty station was Travis Air Force Base. That's where I met you guys at.
Yeah.
I was doing that, for 4 years. I did a deployment in Afghanistan in 2013 for over 6 months. And that was pretty much it. Separated in 2016, honorable discharge, and continue to progress my IT career when I had moved back to Virginia area, the DMV, Woodbridge, was where I kind of started my civilian career in Quantico, and then I've been doing it. I'm still doing it now. Just transferred my job in the Michigan area, close to home, in Toledo, Ohio, and that's kind of been the journey.
Man, and I think there's a lot of parallels there too, just for everybody that is listening right now, it turns out that I was at Travis and Alvin was stationed at Andrews. And so Chris worked with Alvin, and then he ended up transferring to the base I was at, which was all the way in California, in right outside of Vallejo. So it was kind
of. We had mutual friends.
Yeah, so yeah, Bunn's
you know
Bunn's story's a little unique. He got to serve with both of us. I don't know. I don't think there's too many people that can say that. I can probably count on my fingers how many people were based with me and you. So,
right.
Bunn does fall into that small group, but that's wild, man. Yeah, I was in there too, ANCS, man. Over there, Andrews. Yeah. You were radios. Yeah, you remember, you got converted to client systems. I was on the opposite end. I came in as IT, learned IT all through tech school, and then when I got there, they're like, "All right, now you're doing radios. Forget everything you learned in tech school. You're doing radios."
I know that threw you off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, everything, man.
And to be honest, I don't even know if they still doing that.
I think they are, honestly. I think they are. I don't think the radios is going anywhere. That's like old faithful in the government. Like,
yeah, that's just a unique job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you on your career, your Air Force career will be on hold doing that job. Period.
So yeah.
I know.
So y'all pay attention out there, man. Y'all thinking about coming in and all that. Like, you'll be thinking you're doing one thing, and then they'll just hit you with something else. Like, nah, forget all that. You're doing this now.
Yeah. So it was definitely a blessing that Travis, that I got Travis. It was my last dream sheet, as you want to call it, when I was trying to PCS at the time, because I wanted Florida. No one gets Florida, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It is, but it was a blessing that I got Travis and was able to learn the IT career field. So
I was so jealous when you left, man. Like, I remember you got the orders to Travis. Philip was there. I was like, man, that's where I'm trying to go, man. And yep, I was there for about three more years, wishing the same thing, and it never happened.
Yeah, I know that was tough too. Because me and Rachel was talking about it. Mutual friend at the time, Rachel Jenkins. Mm-hmm. So I was like,
yeah, I remember.
No, his brother here. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yeah, man. So diving right in, man, so we can get to it about, veteran life. My first question for you is, like, what was the hardest part for you about adjusting to civilian life after you served one term or two?
I did 8 years.
8 years, okay. So
I did 2 terms, yeah.
Okay, so that must have been I only did 1 term and it was an adjustment, 4 years. You did 2 terms. So what was the hardest part about you adjusting to civilian life?
Well, it's kind of like you're secure in the uniform, and when you separate, it's like you got to hit the reset button again. You don't know what job you're gonna get, and at the time, for me, my daughter was pretty much was only like a year old, so it was like, how am I going to provide for her? Do I, and I was looking for all kinds of jobs that I felt that I was, qualified for, and those jobs just didn't come up in California, in Sacramento, San Francisco area. So I was like, well, all the jobs is in the DMV for IT. So I'm like, I'm just going to have to, move back and kind of hit the reset button and start my IT career over again. So I think that was the biggest challenge, just trying to find a job, you know what I mean? So even though we in the military, and it's not, and people just say, oh, it's easy for us to just land a job like that with a clearance and all of that. That's a myth to me. So, but it didn't take long. As soon as I got to Virginia, I was pretty much hired on the phone at Quantico, and then pretty much I just had to navigate my way up to other IT careers that paid me better than when I hit the reset button. So it took a minute though to feel like I was getting paid how I should have been paid.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the biggest misconception is when people get out, um, they think they're just going to fall into something because they have a clearance and they have the military experience. But it's a process, and it's going to take a lot on your part individually to, like, make those contacts or reach out to those people or submit those resumes or follow up on those interviews. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. You laid that out very well, and that's a huge misconception I think people have, primarily in the IT industry, because it is such a booming industry right now, and people feel like they'll just fall into things. But the biggest thing is to just land on your feet somewhere, and then after that, uh, just have a starting point, and then you can move up from there. That's always the hardest part, I think, for people. Was for myself as well.
It was
But
hard because I went back to help desk, and I ain't trying to take no calls. You know
nope,
what I mean? Like
nope.
that's tier one, basic, A+ type of thing, and going back for that was tough for me. I'm like, I need to be doing what I was doing in the Air Force. I was hands on and moving up. I was doing VoIP and stuff like that. So
Right.
going back to taking a help desk job to try to get back to where I was just tough. I had no privacy. It was just a command type of center, 6 people in a row, 7 people in that row. So I was just like, man, I'm cluttered. So I was like, yeah, I got to get out of this quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's important that you brought that up too, because I think a lot of civilians have this notion, like you both spoke about, that, oh man, you get out, you got a clearance, you military, you're just gonna roll right into a job. And that's so far from the truth, man, because not only are you adjusting to being out of the uniform and having all of this security blanket, this routine, they plan your whole military career out to the date that you're done, according to your H enlistment. So everything's already planned out. Now you're getting into the unknown, essentially, when you get out of the gate. And they just think just because you're from the military, you know, everything's just going to fall on your lap and everything's just going to work out. And that's just, I'm so glad you brought that up, because that's not true.
I think another important thing was the certifications.
Yes.
I know Security Plus is like pretty much basic at this point, but if you didn't, even if you had a master's or, I mean, a master's degree or no, you're not getting an IT job. So it was, I really found out how important it was to have certain certifications to be qualified for these jobs against competition with others.
Yep.
So that was definitely something I learned real quick. So
I feel you.
All right. Well, we'll jump into the next question. I guess, now that you're like settled when you got out, and you've taken in a lot of experience and applied all of that to where you're at now, like, is there anything you would have done differently kind of to prepare for getting out?
um, I would say probably get the bigger certs. I would probably try to get. I mean, I failed. Again. I tried to get CISSP.
That's the big one.
That was just that's just crazy. I failed that, which a lot of people do their first time. I never got it, but I think I would have went for one of those real certs like the CEH, the CISSP, those type of certs, CCNA, to be more qualified and look great on a resume. So that's what I would think I would have did differently.
Okay.
And like, it's good that, for those of you out there that are listening, like, take the wisdom in from someone who just did what he's talking about and is currently transitioning still, because that's another little term that we have here at Value in All Veterans, is the transition never ends. Like, once you come in contact with the military experience, it's with you forever, man. Like, it impacts every environment you get in after you leave the military. You know what I mean? It's always an adjustment. And you trying to give people this wisdom about getting these certain certs, if you're taking the IT route, listen to what Chris is saying. Like, pay attention, take some notes, write down these certs, wherever you are watching this video down the line, even if it's in a couple of years, maybe these certs are outdated, look for the new ones and get them done before you get out so that, you'll be more set up for success when it's your time to get out of the gate. You know what I'm saying? And so my next question for you is, how has the military prepared you for life as a civilian? Like when you got out, where did you feel like you were the most confident in with everything you just learned about getting out the military and trying to navigate?
I mean, in the military, you just learn to adapt. So I
Mm-hmm.
pretty much adapt. I knew how to talk to people, learning how to talk to certain people this way, certain people that way. Just adapting to personalities. Because when you're in the military, every personality is thrown at you, and how you talk to this person ain't gonna work for that person.
Right.
So I think that's what really prepared me a lot. Doing interviews was, I think I was an expert at doing interviews. I think I was an expert at resume writing because I just knew specifically what to put down when it came to numbers. Just doing with EPRs and all that. Hey, I did 50 million in phone contracts. So it was those type of things that kind of prepared me well for the civilian life.
I feel you, man. And I think that's important that you said when it comes to, documentation and organization, even with your thoughts on how you're trying to describe what you've done as a profession. Like EPRs, they helped me too. I was testing for staff before I got out, but you being a staff, not only writing your own EPR, but evaluating them too, that is a huge strength you have when it comes to getting out and writing resumes, because the military teaches you how to cut out the fluff. What did you do? How did you do it? And what was the impact? You know what I mean? X amount of dollars. I'm telling you, on the outside, these HR companies, they love that stuff. It's like, God, like, I wish more people would just write like this. You know what I mean? Because I talk to HR people too, and they tell me the same thing. I know when military people are writing these resumes and when everybody else is writing resumes. You know what I mean? Because it's how we're all trained to write them. So I think that's really valuable.
Yeah, they stress impact too. Like, in the military, they really stress the impact of what you did. Like, how many people did you help? Like who did it serve? Like, how much reach did it get to? Like, in resumes, they want to know more about impact. We read that you're bringing this to the table and you did this and you accomplished this, but like, what did that specifically do? Like what did that result in? And moving forward, I think that is what a lot of resumes are going to be entailed with. A lot of employers are going to be seeking that out, and I feel like military members might not realize that right now, but all the resume or the EPR writing they're doing is really setting them up really well, like moving forward, because it is what employers are looking for now. So I'm really glad that you brought that up, Bunn, because that is really important.
Yeah, because I had wrote my mom's resume, and
I'm like,
you need to change the title. You didn't even change the title of what you did and what you did. Like, you saying assistant, like executive assistant. No, you did all these things. You were a manager. You managed. So change your job title to manager. You know what I mean? So, she ended up getting the job. She probably did well in the interview. And, she works for the Chamber of Commerce in the city of Toledo. And, boom, there it is. So I think that kind of helped,
Man, you be doing everything, man.
I know. Right. So my question is there anything that you miss about the military that you just don't get on the outside? Like anything?
Ooh. I mean,
I know there's a lot not to miss, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Funny stories, the relationships. Yeah, just meeting people. Obviously traveling, but I kind of did the traveling kind of like on my own leave. So, but I think the relationships that I miss, talking to certain people every day is different now because we're not in uniform and people are living their lives now. But I definitely miss just waking up and going to play basketball or just working with those individuals that I still have in relationships with now. Recently I went to Flint, Michigan, and this guy I was in tech school with back in Mississippi back in '08 in Keesler, I haven't seen him in 12 years. And he happened to be doing ROTC in Michigan State, and he had a going away not too long ago, and I went up and seen him, and it was just like this, like we ain't lose contact, and we was only stationed for 5 months. So it's those type of relationships. I'm still good with Aaron Norfoley and some other brothers from Andrew, and I miss that, the day to day with them, with those people I was close to.
Yeah, Fleet's good people. I'm hoping to get him on the show. I know he's doing some financial services kind of venture, and I'm excited to get him on the show eventually. So, looking forward to that.
But yeah, I just missed the active playing basketball and squash and PT and little stuff like that. That was fun. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think it's good that you mentioned, like, we talked about this in a last podcast a couple episodes back about like that routine. The routine in the military, it's almost like a religion, and sometimes it's inconvenient, but when you get out, like we tell people constantly, you start to appreciate those things. Like, damn, like I was really in shape because I had to do it, but it just made it a little easier when you had your homies that had to do the same thing you was doing. Let's get up early as hell, let's go play some ball or something, like for PT or whatever. You had to go run laps or miles or whatever. But I miss those things too. So I think it's really great that you mentioned that point, and the camaraderie, and you get to choose everything when you get out. When you're in, they do everything for you and organize everything for you. But you learn to appreciate the people that you're with, and you build those bonds too. So I struggle with that too a little bit. It's hard to find that connection with folks sometimes when you're on the outside, because not only are you forced to do it while you're in the military, but man, like, when military members, we all realize we put equal skin in the game. You know what I mean? We all leaving something to come serve. You know what I mean? Family, girlfriends, whatever is going on. We put whatever we want to do on hold to serve. So you just feel closer connection knowing that other people have made that same commitment as you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think the pandemic made it even more appreciative. Like for instance, like I'm going to Houston at the end of the month. I haven't seen my man Andre Carter that I was stationed with at Travis, since I've been out the military. And you just don't know what's going on with people, how the pandemic affected, one another and all that. So I've kind of made it my effort to see the people I was close to, to go visit them. If I have the time and opportunity, I will go visit people that I was really close to. So I think the pandemic made it even, a focus of mine.
No, man, I think it's great that you mentioned that too, showing love to folks, man. Mm-hmm. So my next question for you, we got a lot of questions for you, you know what I'm saying? So we
appreciate
it. Was all good.
For those of you just tuning in again, this is Chris Bunn, founder and owner of the Toledo clothing and merchandise company out of Toledo, Ohio, Air Force veteran as well. So my next question is, what advice would you give to vets or active duty members who are looking to start a business? Like if they're about to get out, or they're, 2 years out and they're kind of flirting with the idea right when they get out, they want to, like, what advice would you give them?
I think the first thing is researching, making sure you have something unique, because everything online right now is saturated. So there's a million clothing brands, there's a million rappers, there's a million singers, there's a million this, that, other. I think making sure whatever you want to do stands out and you're solving a problem. For instance, when we came up with Toledo, there was no fashion brand representing the city of Toledo. It was just a sports team. It was just a sports team that you can wear, that represent our city. So we kind of put the city name in our logo, Toledo, and and that's how we kind of stood out. We was kind of the first business ever in Toledo to do that. I think another thing is the paperwork got to be right. LLC, DBA, trademark. Even if you have an LLC, you still can get copied. Someone can still take it away from you, type of thing. So, making sure the paperwork is right. So, but you have to find a way to stand out, even with the saturated field, with everything being accessible online.
I feel you, man. And I think that's important that you mentioned. That's business 101 is first making sure your paperwork's straight, legally protecting your intellectual property. All that is basics. You know, people just want to shoot out and start throwing stuff, around and then wonder how people are copying them. And they're able to because you didn't legally protect your stuff. And then also giving you an advantage, like you said, is niching down. You weren't like, oh, I just want to represent Ohio. I want to niche down to my city, Toledo, Ohio. And then once you do niche down, it's easier to create a little bit of space. You just need a little bit of a whole plate to really get things going. You know what I mean? You don't got to worry. You can get to covering all Ohio. But if you just focus on your little city first, even your community, your zip code, you know what I mean? Whatever. If you just kind of start there, you'd be shocked how much opportunity, money, it's easier to market. You get to know the people better. So the template that you're following, I think, is very, very good and something I think other people should.
And it's funny you mentioned that, Phil, because, when my brother came up with the concept, the logo, people in the DMV wanted it. So it wasn't, it was people. I mean, Drake was doing this thing in Toledo and I was watching from afar. But then people that was in D.C., Maryland, Virginia was like, what is that? So it kind of just just ring like a bell in my head. Like, people from out of town want the logo and have nothing to do with Toledo. So it was kind of like, we got something here if everyone else from outside of Toledo wanted it. And it kind of helped because I was in the military. So I got, Aaron from Detroit. I got my man in Japan wearing it. Just my military brothers just wearing it. Just they supported me, but they actually like it as well. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm gonna support my brother because he has a brand, and I'm telling them, hey, can you wear this? Hey, can you support me? Like, no, they was like, yo, this is good. I want to wear it. So, they bought it. It wasn't like no free giveaway type of thing. So that's where it kind of elevated, and then but the template, what you said, Philip, is spot on. Because we'll see how much we'll scale up past Toledo.
Yeah, I was gonna follow up with that. Like, have you had any other cities, any other areas reaching out to y'all yet, saying, "Hey, we want to, like, can you make something for us? Can you make any merch, like, repping our city, or like anything like that?"
We've had people like that. I mean, we have people come up to us, but it's like at this point, like anytime we travel, recently I was in Vegas and people just like it. Like, I don't think we have to do something specifically for that city. I'm not either just going to buy Toledo or not, what I mean? Type of thing. So, yeah, people just like the logo. I mean, no matter where you're from, you're just going to rep Toledo. So.
Okay. Well, I know we spoke about community a little bit earlier, and that leads me to my next question, which is, what does community mean to you, and how has it helped you, grow your business and try to scale it up? Like, is there any groups you're part of, or anybody that you and your team have leaned on for like more experience on things? Like what does community mean to you?
Well, as far as the networks, I mean, I'm a recent grad at the University of Toledo. And it's really just me and my brother. We just the community means a lot to us because we just wanted to show people in Toledo that, we're just not just entertainers at the end of the day. There's something in us and all Black people, melanin, our spirit, that we were kings and queens a long time ago. And we still are. We still gonna have that in us. So it's just digging deep down and finding that. Everyone is special in their own way. So the community has supported us. We really just tried to show people younger than us that you can have your own brand as well. You can start a store. You can start something, instead of trying to play basketball or rap. And that's always been programmed on us because it seems like that's the best things we do according to media. But we just way smarter than a lot of we're so smart and we don't get enough credit for it. Period.
Facts.
So I kind of try to lead people on in that, and we have influenced people because other brands have came after us in the city of Toledo. So boutiques, storefronts, people trying to do their own brand now. So people are trying to follow our template.
Man, I think that's great that you mentioned, that we are more than what is marketed or all the narratives about African Americans and just, they highlight, the sports and the rap and all of these things. And even with our platform here with Value in All Vets, we also created this platform to just increase visibility of Black and people of color that are veterans, because we get the demographic. The majority is white, but when you look at how the military is marketed, we get kind of put on the back burner. It's almost like they got to try to find us, even though we're in the military. We have been a part of every major American war, I think, since America was founded and started going to war. You know what I mean? So that's why it's important that we have our voices and have a platform like this to talk about our experiences, which are different from the majority demographic that's in the military. But also, when we get out, we are doing all of these amazing things too, and showing the next generation of kids that, hey, you can serve in the military if that's your thing. If you want to, it's quite a commitment. But you can also start your own business, and then you getting on the show and just sharing all this information, I think is just so vital and critical, man. I really appreciate you.
I think the thing that kills me the most is the media or whatever said, this is the first Black person to do this, first Black person to do that. No, we wasn't the first Black person. We was the first people.
Right.
And people just got that credit. They got that credit for it. So when my approach to the fashion store was, we're going to be the first business in Toledo. Not first Black business, it's first business in Toledo to have a fashion store to represent the city of Toledo. So I get tired of first Black coach to win the Super Bowl, first Black this, first Black that. We've never been the first. We've always been. You don't have to say first Black. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of always irritated me, and I'm trying to wipe that away.
I hear you, man. Much respect to you, man. My next question for you is what was the hardest decision you had to make as a business owner so far?
So there's been a lot.
Yeah. I mean, all entrepreneurs don't have, fear at some point or doubt at some point. But probably the fear aspect, seeing if we were going to last more than a year type of thing, or, because me and my brother kind of just winged it. We just said, hey, let's just throw all of our cards in type of thing. We made a bad investment on a printer that kind of put us in a hole. And that's what, entrepreneurs do. We're going to continue to fail at stuff like that. But I think that was kind of the biggest challenge, just figuring out, what we need to invest in and how we're going to get our business off the ground. Is people going to be receptive to Toledo, and by the miracle or by the grace of God, people have been very receptive to it. So I tell all entrepreneurs who want to start, just throw yourself out there. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean? I mean, you might lose some money, but, you're going to recover from that. I mean, we all do. You know what I mean? We all in debt at some form of fashion. And, you'll recover. You know what I mean? So, but I think that was the biggest challenge, is investing into a printer, and it didn't work out. So,
Hey, it happens, man, and you learn from it, and you just keep going. Like that's,
all right. So,
that's just how it works.
I think one important thing for everybody that's listening to this episode is Chris just mentioned one way, not even just a hard decision, but that he failed. Like, you got a lot of people out here, they will not tell you how they fail, man. Like, you know what I mean? And the fact that you are even sharing that shows that you're pretty, you're very wise. And then also that you see failure is like, it's just a stepping stone to learn from. It didn't kill his business. It didn't kill his momentum. It just said, yo, this didn't work. We need to reevaluate and get a better one and not make this decision again. For all of you that are listening, understand failure is not the end unless you choose to let it be. Unless you choose to let that make you fail your business, it's just a stepping stone. It's a hurdle. Just get over it and keep moving. I think that's really powerful that you mentioned that, bro.
I mean, you're gonna go through some adverse situations. I mean, we've had people try to copy our word Toledo. We've had a business hate on us to the Olympics. You know, we've had it all. You know what I mean? And that was a battle during a pandemic. You know what I mean? So, some businesses think it's war when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's like monopoly for people. You know what I mean? People can't share the same land or whatever. So, and my brother wouldn't trip on that, but I take that stuff serious. Like, you try to, it's, you got to be prepared for the hate and stuff like that. Businesses will try to get you on out of here, like you in my space type of thing. So, I think another thing, like, black people don't handle competition well. They just don't. It's, if someone sounds like the person similar, you copying off me, you copying me off here, stuff like that. And it's always when black people have a competition problem, it's pretty much self-hate at that point, because we was programmed to self-hate after certain situations that have happened to us. So if I see someone get shot and killed, I'm gonna eventually start self-hating myself, and then I'm gonna hate you. You know what I mean? So
because you don't see value in that. Because you don't see
there's no value.
Right. So it's been situations like that, hating on from not only black people but white businesses as well. So that I just know we're doing something, and
there you go.
That's how I take it. You know what I mean? Like, we here to stay. Like, we a landmark at this point. So
let's go, man.
Yeah, just your stories in general. Like that's what we're trying to create here. Is your story has so much value in it, and we're just trying to get out to more vets and active members that military members, we are valuable. We bring value to our communities. We bring value to pretty much any endeavor we try to go into. And there might be some that feel like they don't value themselves, or they feel like they're not valuable once they get out. And that's why me and Phil wanted to create the platform and bring people such as yourself onto the show with just good, rich stories of adversity and just so much value that I know I'm getting a lot of this already, so I'm looking forward to for everyone else to get it as well.
Well, I tell everyone this, Alvin and Phil. I tell everyone that has served in the military, when they say it's only 1% of us, there's only 1% of us that signed that contract. So we are special. There's 99% of the people in the world cannot do what that we've done. And I always try to tell people that served in the military, not if my friends or just someone randomly I know, like, we're just special. We're just special. Like, there's only 1% of us, you know what I mean? And sometimes we got to remind ourselves that, you know what I mean? 99% cannot do what we do, period.
That is so, and that's so important because, and we're not saying that because I've said that before too, and I'm so glad you mentioned that because we're not saying this from an arrogant point of view. This is the data talking, and it specifically shows that only 1% of the U.S. population signs up to serve in the military. That's an astronomically small percentage of people, you know what I mean, who want to make that type of commitment. So yeah, you should give yourself some credit. You should give vets around you that have made that same commitment some credit too, you know, and they've given us the skills to come out here and be successful. You know, veterans should know that when they step out, regardless what kind of career they had. I mean, unless you had a dishonorable discharge, then that's, you know, I don't know what's waiting for you. But if you are honorable and you've gotten through the military, you have a lot of skills on your plate, and you also have a reason to hold your head up high and say, "Hey, I can get what I want out here outside the gate now. I've served my country, and I've made a commitment that most people can't make." This is a huge commitment that we made, you know? Most people won't make some sort, outside of marriage, I guess. A commitment to the military is pretty freaking serious. So I think it's really powerful that you mentioned that, man.
I mean, how many times, you know, you go randomly grocery store, gym, and people see your, you know, Air Force or a military thing, and they be like, "Hey, I had a cousin who served. I had a brother who served." And it seems like it'd be so many more people that serve more than that 1%, and that's actually not.
Right.
And so it kind of reminds me. I'm like, yeah, everyone knows someone who served in the military, but it's just not too many. So,
Right. Speaking of value, like, what value do you think military members, you know, bring to their community, like that they might not be aware of? Like, we get all the training, but is there like any like minute things that you think are very big, impactful things on the outside?
I think I can probably the qualities that I have: ambition, persistence, dedication, commitment. Those things that we bring to the community, and that's pretty much has been my qualities, you know, before the military. So the military just ramped it up. You know what I mean? So, and consistency, discipline, those things, those words as well. And I think that's what that elevates us, and why we're the kind of the unique 1%.
Yeah, man, that kind of ties into my question I was going to ask next was, you know, like what type of skills or training do you think the military has given you to make you a better business owner? And I think a lot of what you just mentioned probably helps you as a business owner. Is there anything else, like, outside of just being I mean, you have leadership skills, clearly. You know, you were a staff sergeant too, so you had your own troops you had to take care of on every level on top of yourself, because you're trying to get promoted and all that and do your job. So you know how to multitask. But like, is there anything else specific as a business owner that the military has, you know, helped enhance skills for you?
I think one I haven't mentioned was faith, in a way. Like having faith and confidence in what you're doing, and not letting the outside noise get in the way of what you're trying to accomplish. And I think the military kind of put that on full display for me as well. So, you know, if I'm in this uniform, you know, I got faith that, you know, everything's going to be good, you know, and the confidence that I can do this job and you know, along with my peers. So
I think that's
as when you initially first got out, like, did you struggle like to work with civilians? Was there any type of like social issues that you had, like trying to connect with people, you know, after you had initially separated? Because, you know, when you're in, especially as long as I think you were in 8 years, like that's way longer than I was in. And, you know I built some special relationships with people, but, you know, just being immersed in that lifestyle and that culture and then coming out, did you find it particularly hard to connect with just typical coworkers you worked with, or just seeing their work ethic? Like, did it not match up with what you were expecting? Like, did you have any issues with working with civilians?
I didn't, as far as like my peers know, but managers, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, managers, you feel like as a person from the military, or just in general, sometimes to yourself that I'm smarter than you. I can do this. I can do your job better, period. And that was probably something I struggled with. Because when you work in a civilian lifestyle, I mean a civilian job in IT, the infrastructure is a little different from the military. So there's certain things you did in the military, like why wouldn't this company do them same things? And it was something for me to kind of adapt to, because they had certain things that were different, as opposed to how the military networks are, stuff like that. And I was like, kind of just caught me off guard. But I would just say managers as a general. It was what I probably had to struggle with.
No, I feel that, man. Management, organizational structure is what I struggled with coming out. You know what I mean? We talked about that in the previous episode too, even with the way they communicate. Like there was a lot more passive aggressive communication on the outside as opposed to in the military. Not saying that it wasn't like that in the military, but I noticed a lot of people tried to talk to you indirectly and try to avoid any face-to-face communication, or just try to say, what do you want to say? You know what I mean? Like, just tell me what's going on. Like, I really had to pry information out of people in the civilian world, as opposed in the military, they'll just tell you what you did wrong, where you effed up, and like correct it. You know what I mean? On the outside, it's like there's all this fluff. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yo, can somebody just talk to me, please? Like, and we also talked about that too. Like, have you ever, on the civilian side, have you worked with any vets in your organization and you just connected with them easier?
Um, um, well, the field chief in Detroit, Detroit was Air Force, and
Okay.
and then I had someone else that was Air Force. I'm kind of connected with them. They're much older than me though, but those were kind of the only ones. When I was in the DMV, it wasn't too many veterans that I worked with. They were all civilians, so it was,
Yes.
they were, the fluff like you mentioned was out there. So, but yeah, it was. I think my job at Fort Belvoir was fun though, because his wife is currently military, so we had that connection. You know what I mean? And he's a friend. He's my friend to this day, and he was my former supervisor. So
Okay.
That's great, man.
you'll get lucky with one.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's all I don't know.
Yeah. So like, my last question for you is, like, what advice would you give to a young person who's thinking about joining the military? Like, what do you think some things they should think about before they decide to make, like, a commitment to the military? You have any advice for them?
I mean, I kind of assess your life. For me, it was kind of simple. The environment wasn't good. Um, I wanted to leave Toledo. I had went to Africa at 17 years old, so my mind was already. I went to South Africa, so my mind was already like, I don't need to be here anymore. It's more to life. And I think people who want to join, just assess the situation. Is these group of people you're around, are they elevating you, or are they just putting you down the same rabbit hole, or just mediocre type of, complacent type of thing? And if you want to join, I wouldn't say do 6 years. I would just say do a 4-year term. If you like it, press on. I mean, I was able to do 8 years. I just did a 4 forward. And find a reason why you want to join. I know sometimes a lot of people's like, yo, there's nothing else for me. I'm just gonna sign my name on the dotted line. You know what I mean? That was kind of my case, but once I went to Africa, I wanted to travel more. I just think there's so much valuable education in just traveling that people do not understand or won't understand unless they do it. So, when it comes to cultures, when it comes to appreciation of life, stuff like that. And that's what I had got when I went to Africa. I'm like, I'm complaining about my situation, let alone their situation. is 50 times worse.
Right.
Like 50 times worse, and they're just happy still. There's just certain people that's just gonna be happy just with little things, music, whatever, and then there's just gonna be people like, yo, I need these things. I think I need these things to be happy. You know what I mean? Like, you ever see a rap video and it's from the hood, and the people that's in that hood or in that project, they still look like they have fun.
Right.
That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Because you can't kind of break the will of minorities. Like, you can do so much stuff to us, and we still here, type of thing. So we kind of happy with just the little normal things for real. So, but yeah, that's kind of my schoolboy and people who want to join. Um, it's not for everybody, obviously. I think you got to be strong. I think you got to have a good background at home. It all starts at home. I had a tough father. He was on my ass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we did too, man.
You know,
We did. We definitely did too.
Y'all dad was Haitian. He didn't play games, man.
Yeah, and I had a 3.8 GPA in high school, and he still was on me. I'm like, yo, I'm not doing drugs. I'm not in jail. You know, what up? You know what I mean? It still wasn't enough to him in certain aspects, but it kind of made boot camp for me easy. So when these TIs was just drilling, spitting, or saying whatever, I was like, this is hilarious to me. I'm laughing in my head. You know, the only one that scares me in life is who I call my dad Suge Knight, because he just looks like Suge Knight. So he's the only one that will ever intimidate me. You know what I'm saying? You know. So, I mean, military wasn't, you know, my mind was already strong and ready for it.
Nah, that's great, man. I mean, especially with travel. Like, honestly, I really kind of, you know, I pitied people in the military who didn't travel more. You know what I mean? Some of you, like, some of people out there, they're already in Europe. They're already in Asia. And why don't you just go to some other? You already there. Like, you're farther than anywhere you've been on your block in your city or in your town. Why don't you just, you know, they never left base. And I just wouldn't get it. Like, you know, like I went to go visit Alvin in South Korea, and before I went to go see him, you know, he was going to Bali. Where else did you go, bro?
Well, we went to Bali and we went to Thailand, but it was just kind of crazy. Like, I would tell people we're going, and they'd be like, "Oh man, like I wish I could go." I'm like, "Man, we already here. You could go too. What you mean? Like, you wish you could go? Like, now I get maybe it was a money thing. I don't know, but if you really wanted to go, the opportunity was there. You know what I mean? Like the tickets were half the price you'd pay from here. So it was a no-brainer for me. But people will really just be like, "Dang, that's crazy. I wish I could go," and I just never understood that, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, people, yeah. I don't have an answer for that. I just don't.
I feel you.
Yeah, just on like a personal level, as far as being a vet, like, have you utilized any of your VA benefits, like for school or the VA home loan, like anything like that?
I used my VA for school that I graduated last year in IT, my IT
Okay.
degree in information systems management. And as far as that, I mean, I'm just 90% disabled as well.
Okay.
Just with my anxiety and stuff from Afghanistan. So other than that, not too much VA benefits other than those two.
Okay. Yeah, we always just like to touch up on those. Yeah, we never have to go into detail about them. We just want to let vets know that, you know, there are, and active people know that there are benefits you can take advantage of on the outside, and they're not like myths. They're not, you know, there is support out there. They will get you the money. They do help. So, you know, take advantage of them because they're there for you. You earn that benefit, so use it. And that's really the only reason we just asked the question.
Yeah, I use my Montgomery GI Bill, and I still got time on there if I want to go back to school. But yeah, that's pretty much the benefit I used.
Hey, congratulations to you on getting that degree too, bro. I'm using my a post 9/11 GI Bill for I'm actually back in school right now, and yeah. I'm doing residential construction management, so trying to get some knowledge down so I can go and start flipping some homes, making some money on the side, investing. So they teach it's a vocational school, so it's real hands on. So I feel like my money's being, utilized very well, and it's good to hear that you utilize your benefits too, because vets should understand when you get out honorably, of course. I'm not speak if you have dishonorable discharge, you have your own respectful, way of how you're going to do things. But if you do finish honorably and qualify for your education benefits, definitely use them because it's not even like the government's not giving it to you. You earn them. You put the time in. You got to put in a certain amount of time to get the benefits. You don't just serve and get them. There's an X amount of days you have to serve. You put in the time. You earned it. So it would benefit you to use those benefits to help you navigate on the outside, man. So, man, Chris, man, you've been an amazing guest. I feel like we could talk to you for hours, man. I know you're a business owner. You got to get going. Do you have any words of encouragement for any vets out here right now or members who are about to get out? Any last words of encouragement?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a journey. It's a transition. From crossing over from military to civilian life, but there's resources out there to help. There's the relationships of people that served with you in the military that can reach out and kind of help you. I know Philip, I know Alvin have been a resource, and we've talked offline when we're going through stuff. And you're not alone from a mental standpoint. So, that's what I encourage. And we all here for each other as veterans because, like I said, there's only 1% of us. So that's what that's my last piece.
I feel you, man. I feel you again, Chris. Really proud of you, man. As far as any websites or merch, where can people find your merchandise, your store, and can find you at on social media?
My Facebook page and our IG page is Toledope Apparel. Our website is toledopeapparel.com. Matter of fact, you guys send me your addresses so I can just send y'all whatever colors y'all want. If y'all have a specific Pittsburgh Steeler color or whatever, I can do that for you. I'm a huge Steeler fan.
Hey,
So, but yeah, that's where you can find me. My IG is 419 Bunn BU and then B. And yeah, that's how you can reach me. If anyone has questions on how to start just entrepreneurship questions, I'm here to give you that knowledge as well.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you're definitely going to be back on the show again for sure. We have.
I appreciate y'all having me, man. I've been wanting to be on for a while. Y'all doing great things. I love the twins. You know what I mean? I love what y'all doing. I love Alvin and Phil. So,
hey, we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. And for those of you who are watching, if you're currently on YouTube, please subscribe. Tell your friends. Subscribe to our channel, Value in All Veterans. You can also find us on Instagram at valueandall_vets. Alvin, you have any last words? Anything you want to say?
Just love each other. Keep supporting each other. If you need help, if you need to talk to anybody, just reach out to any of your vets, any of your active people. Stay safe. We matter. We have value. We'll keep bringing things to you, like great guests like Bunn, and just take care of yourselves. And we'll be back real soon with another guest. So stay tuned.
Absolutely, absolutely. Us veterans, we are more than veterans too. We do a lot of amazing things outside in the community. Chris Bunn here with us today is an excellent example of that. And Chris, we want to thank you again today. Thanks for everybody tuning in to the Value in All show. Again, our mission is to help alleviate any anxiety or fear military members may have about life outside the gate as a veteran. All my veterans, all our troops overseas right now, y'all stay safe, stay blessed, keep your head down, And we will see you next week for episode 10 of Value and All.
Peace out.
Peace.